Good evening, friends, and thank you for joining us on 13 Plus. I'm Mary Coleman. Hope you are having a great Wednesday, Thursday. What's today? Today's Thursday. Hope you're having a great Thursday so far. Well, let's jump right into our story for this evening. The Better Business Bureau is responsible for helping protect our consumers, all of us, and that includes their office in Tucson. We spoke with Denise Alvarez, VP for BBB, about a tool they offer that could keep you from falling victim.
The BBB's mission is to really promote marketplace trust. So what does that mean? Our seal, our businesses that are accredited businesses or members, they go through a vetting process and we give them our seal basically of approval, saying, hey, we looked into their license, they're good to go, their track record, so that consumers know that when they're doing business with an accredited business that, we've done the homework to make sure that they're covered.
Absolutely. And let's talk a little bit about the scam tracker that you all introduced a few years back. Tell me about the history of that. Why was that something that was so needed in this community?
So one of the things that BBB does is we process complaints. And so what we try to do is be a mediator for businesses and consumers, right? And what happened was that we were getting a lot of calls about scams. These weren't real businesses. And once, we kind of looked at it as a nationwide organization and said, what do we do with all of that information? So that's when we launched the scam tracker to be able to really report scams separate from complaints. And so that helped us track them, and it's an online tool that allows consumers to check if there's been any scams in their area. So you can put in your zip code, phone number, even the name of the person that called you. Yes, if they visit bbb.org, they can go online, report a scam, or look up, again, they can put in their zip code, look up any scams in their area.
Are there any specific scams that you can think of? Obviously this was necessary to bring to light. Are there any that were taking place back then that you're like, okay, this was a major issue that we've kind of gotten a hold on now that this scam tracker has been out?
Definitely, I think just being able to report it was a huge help. Scammers are very seasonal, right? During the beginning of the year, you have your IRS scams, you have utility scams. So we just saw a need for a place to hold this information. But really, in Tucson, again, there's seasonal scams. Right now, we're seeing a lot of utility and solar scams. And so it's really important to report that. And a lot of consumers don't know about the free tool that we have, or they're embarrassed to report it because they don't want, they don't want anybody to label them as a victim or anything like that. But really what it does is help consumers, not fall victims in the future.
And switching gears now, people often find that the cost of high-demand items skyrocket during popular events or emergencies like ice storms, severe cold snaps, power outages, hurricanes, floods, or other types of disasters, which unfortunately we have seen recently. Better Business Bureau often receives reports about the frequency of scams involved in sought-after items like high prices on gas, water, or hotel rooms after a natural disaster or during a popular event. Some state attorneys general offices have initiated state price gouging laws, which automatically go into effect during a declared state of emergency to prevent businesses from overcharging customers. If you're not familiar, price gouging is a term referring to when a seller spikes the prices of goods, services, or commodities to a level much higher than is considered reasonable or fair and is considered exploitative, potentially to an unethical extent. The best way to avoid price gouging is to plan ahead and have the necessary supplies you need before a disaster if possible. BBB warns businesses to avoid the temptation to raise prices during popular events or a situation like a storm or a pandemic because it may be illegal to do so in certain stages and because it erodes marketplace trust. People will remember which businesses took advantage of them. Here are a couple of tips to avoid falling victim and if you need to report a price gouging complaint. First, be as specific as possible about the transaction, including the name and address of the business. Gather documentation supporting the price gouging, like receipts, photos, or products and their advertised pricing. Compare pricing of similar products with other sellers in the area and online. It's important to note similarities and differences between brands, size, quality, manufacturers, models, numbers, and prices. And report it to federal agencies. For price gouging related to essential goods during emergencies, the Federal Trade Commission or the Department of Justice may investigate. Just provide them with the appropriate information. And spread awareness. Share your experiences on social media to raise awareness so that others don't fall victim. And just a reminder for all of you, 13 News is on streaming platforms. These you see here. You can watch our live newscasts on 13 Plus, Android TV, YouTube TV, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Roku, or KOLD.com/livestream. Before we go, we want to give you a live look from the Tucson area, from our Mount Bigelow cam. You can see those beautiful stars in the sky. Another gorgeous evening, hopefully a little bit cooler than last night, and hopefully it continues to get cooler night after night. Hope you're having a great evening, and we hope you join us for more news and weather on 13 News Live at 10.